Should I be feeling bad? No. Should I be feeling good? No. It's kind of sad. I'm the laughing stock of the neighborhood. And you would think that I'd be moving on. But I'm a sucker, like I said, fucked up in the head. And maybe she just made a mistake. And I should give her a break. My heart will ache either way. Hey, what the hell? What do you want me to say? I won't lie. That I can't deny. I did it all for the Nookie.
Man, let's talk about Nookie for just a minute. You want to talk about the ultimate dichotomy in terms of...
I'm so glad you said this.
In terms of nu metal and that era of music, it is, on one hand, some of the most infectious guitar groove you'll ever hear in your entire life. It's just awesome. And then the lyrics come in and you're just embarrassed to be bouncing your head. But the groove is undeniable.
There is no song that has a better song musically and just cringe-worthy lyrics on the words side. And I still remember I was in my dorm room when I first saw the video for Nookie. And I just remember when they got to that chorus, like I'm saying, I'm like, oh, this song's cool, you know. And he gets to the chorus, I'm like, is he saying what I think he's saying? Like, what? Like, what on earth is this? Like, it was so bad lyrically, but the song itself is so freaking good. And that's sort of the Limp Bizkit experience, sort of. I mean, you know, I don't know that I would say they have a ton of like great albums, but like Wes Borland has always been an awesome guitar player. He writes some of the coolest guitar parts, and everybody reveres him as a guitarist. He's really well liked. And, you know, you can say what you want about Fred Durst's delivery. You know, I think it's fine for this music, his delivery, but man, his lyrics are routinely just awful. But
they're awful. And on top of it, the band's evolution, if you want to call it that, or devolution, de-evolution, you know, they went from being kind of a metal hardcore band where Fred was rapping and whining a little bit, but screaming a lot, to just whining and rapping. And when they lost that edge, I remember buying this album because I loved $2 Bill Y'all. I thought it was really cool. And then I bought this album and I listened to it once or twice, and I gave it to my friend who lived down the hall in my college apartment building, and I didn't regret it for even a minute.
Is it $2 bill or $3 bill?
$3 bill, y'all. You're right.
Okay. I like you. You had me doubting myself there. I'm like, wait, is it? Because I was thinking it was $3. Yeah, but $3 bill, y'all, is one of the coolest albums. Like when I first heard that, it was like the production is so raw on it. Like it's I don't know, like it sounds so different from the follow-up that like I don't know, like it was like you could just like hear these like really interesting musical ideas on $3 bill, y'all, and then you saw like, okay, once they started throwing some production into it, like it really took off. It's easy to see why it was so popular, and I will always like appreciate Limp Bizkit for what they were, and in that moment they were a revolutionary sound. Like there was just nothing else like them.
And for anybody who thinks that we're wrong or that Andrew is just talking out of his ass, you had to be there. You really had to be there. I'm telling you, he's right. It was reasonable to appreciate that first record and think like, all right, this is interesting. I want to see where they go next. And then it's also reasonable to say, I don't like where they went next.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, so Significant Other, like just has a lot of like very interesting songs, like a lot of just, you know, some songs that are very melodic on that, like some really nice grooves on it, some heavy stuff. And then after that, like, like the Chocolate Starfish album, which is just a awful album title.
Oh, don't
That
forget the hot dog
was
flavored water.
and the hot dog flavored water, of course. And then Wes left the band for a while. They put out an album with another guitarist. I don't even remember what that album was called anymore. I will say, though, they put out an EP when Wes came back called The Unquestionable Truth Part 1. And I stand by that to this day. I think that is an excellent EP.
I never listened to it.
Yeah, no, you should check it out sometime. It's actually very good. Yeah, that, I mean, I've certainly like, it was such a, for me, like, I think that there are still some hardcore Limp Bizkit fans, but for me, it was very much a flash in the pan sort of very brief period of time. But man, when Nookie came out, like that was like the peak of Total Request Live on MTV, and like in an era in which boy bands were kind of taking over. Rap was coming to the forefront, and Limp
TRL
Bizkit
was
really
all Backstreet, Britney, NSYNC, 98 Degrees, and then Blink 182.
Yeah. So like Limp Bizkit was like a breath of fresh air for rock fans too, that there was something that could still represent strongly in that era. And so yeah, I think for people to judge today like what they sound like is probably not really fair, like you said, to what it was like in that moment when they came out. So props to Limp Bizkit. Like I said, that's really the way the new metal poetry book had to end. There was no other choice than Nookie to close this out.
And I figure there's probably like a 30-40% chance that I end up seeing Limp Bizkit sometime in the next few years at some festival where I didn't really intend to see them, but they just happened to be there. I saw them at Ozfest 99 when Tool played, and they came out of a three-story tall toilet.
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't see him on that, but I remember that. I saw him on the Summer Sanitarium when we talked in a previous episode about Linkin Park. They were also on that same that lineup was wild. Like you had Deftones, Mudvayne, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Metallica. Like what a wild lineup that was.
I stand by Mudvayne, by the way. That's a future episode.
Yeah, for sure.